I'm Eric Hansen. I was in the military for 22 plus years. I worked paramilitary counterterrorism out to 29 years as an 18 Delta, the Special Forces medic. I've made custom knives for people in the SOF community for about two-ish years, and that's what's driven me to start FOBOS Knives. What is FOBOS? FOBOS is for operators by operators. My first introduction to knife training was when I was a really young, in my early mid 20s, as a young SF guy, as an E6. My first days on a team where we would be in the prone position or the supine, on your back, and there would be a proctor with the training, and your knife would be either on the floor, either in your hand or in your sheath, whether you're prone or supine. And so you would have to retrieve it or re-grip it or pull it, from its sheath, and then be able to thwart off or ward off an attack. What I found was having a larger handle, which is comfortable in some uses, directional cutting and those, it didn't really lend itself to the ergonomics or the form and function of taking an impact on your hand, because you may not always be in a position to just stab a cat or whatever it may be coming your way, whether that's a four-pawed animal, or whatever environment you're in, because you're in the food chain. I've been on patrol in Africa and been under NVGs and had lions and hyenas fall in behind us just waiting on somebody to fall out. And so that's really the premise, is you at any moment you may be notching some wood or cutting a wire or whatever it may be, cutting strips of burlap, whatever, and you may find yourself now you're in this knockdown, drag out fight for your life with whatever it may be, whether that's another person or some animal in the food chain. Knives are used in the military in a ton of different ways, and honestly, self-defense is almost the last thing that you're going to be doing with your military knife. But guys in the military are digging trenches. They're notching out sticks for revetments. You're opening cans, you're bashing open ammo boxes, prying knives, or nails, excuse me. So it's not always this is a fighting knife. Just because you're in the military doesn't mean it's just a fighting knife. That's not what you're going to really be digging foxholes. You're going to be digging with your knife, and people would think that that's crazy. But ask your fellow GI, the guy that your fellow vet, did you ever dig a hole with your knife? And they're probably going to go, yeah, I did. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. So it's a whole plethora across the spectrum of knife use is what a military guy is going to use a knife for. The entire time that I was in SEER school, I had, or throughout my career, my own design on a knife, and it was a 7-inch blade, and I used it skinning rabbits. I've processed deer, everything in between, and done hand to hand with it, and that's one reason why I love a forward choil, is it allows you to really choke up on the knife, and it brings a lot of speed into your handwork, or into your blade, your slash, and your cutting and your driving work that you're doing with your knife. When you're preparing for something, you think of as, I have only so much time and I have so much money to be prepared. So I prepare myself for most likely and most dangerous. What is the most likely thing I'm going to do with this, and what is the most dangerous thing that I'm going to have to do with this, i.e., defending yourself, in this case with a knife. And in saying that, that's why the design is what it is. It's I've from the handle to the swedges that I use, to the Persian swedges, to the drop points, to the penetrating tips, and the pommel. It's because, as a military guy, I've had to use a knife in such a diverse set of circumstances. I've tried to work in as much ergonomics as I can to be able to function in as many aspects as you absolutely can, and still have a fast, hard, heavy use, blade that's going to get you through most likely and get you through most dangerous. A lot of the features that that are involved in why I jimp the way I jimp, and some of the Persian swedges, that I do, and the flat that's on our forward or on my forward finger choil, and all of that has come back from my own experience, using knives, and guys coming and saying, hey, can we do this? Can you more? I was like, sure. Let me draw it up, and we'll do this with it, and then we'll make it. And that's really been the stair step approach to how and why I do things or have designed things the way that I have, fit and form and function, ergonomics, to be able to essentially defend yourself while you're doing other tasks. The company's FOBOS, for operators by operators. Thanks for checking us out. Knives ship free. We build knives that you're going to use every single day. And for the guy who's out there pushing the limits, pushing the envelope, and running the edge every single night, FOBOS Knives.